it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here again. We are zooming in and focusing in on the topic of the covert narcissist and conditional love. And this is video 2. I'm sorry, the phone went through a software update, so we're picking up where we left off. And we're talking about the covert narcissist, someone who is very aloof, very reserved, very retiring, oftentimes very passive and very passive aggressive, meaning they don't wear their feelings on their sleeves. They don't vocalize their values. They don't vocalize their opinions. And furthermore, they don't vocalize or validate you. They don't give you the guidance, love, direction, validation, acknowledgement, approval, things that you really need. It's a basic part of need in a relationship to have these needs addressed, the need to be acknowledged, the need to be validated, the need to be, spoken to, the need to have eye contact, a need for greetings, communication, understanding, empathy. These are the sort of basic needs that are part of a functioning relationship. And the covert narcissist, because they have a pathological sense of self-importance, they will basically manipulate and emotionally denigrate others through a very sort of masterful aloofness, meaning that your physical presence is oftentimes not acknowledged. You are not validated. You are not complimented. You are not given this sort of emotional validation or communication that you need because they are so recessed into their own life, and they're very retreating, meaning that they might go off in their computer room. They might go off in the garage. They might go off in the basement. They might be doing this and pursuing things that you have no idea about. They might be going on long business trips. They might be engaged in, drinking or secretive drinking or secretive eating. A lot of this, can be very covert, meaning undetected, concealed, or not apparent to the eye. And so you kind of feel like there's something missing from this person. And it's a lack of attention, a lack of getting to know this person. You feel like you might be married or working with this person, and you feel like you don't really know them. You feel like there's something under lock and key. And this then tends to require a lot of attention, admiration, and forthright energy on your part to continue the relationship and to keep it functioning, to keep things moving forward. And as we were stating, furthermore, that the goal in this video is to understand the conditional love or aspect of the covert narcissist and the relationship and why it presents so many issues to those people in the psychological community. And that is that of the conditional love aspect. So really, conditional love, because of this person's heightened sense of self-importance, as we're stating, they're very much more important really than anybody. And yes, you are important, but when it becomes to the point where you're lacking empathy or you're taking advantage of others or neglecting others' needs or really putting too much pressure on them to always satisfy your needs, it becomes a very imbalanced and pathological relationship. And so, I get a lot of comments that these people are exhausted from constantly putting this person first, constantly attending to their needs and ignoring of their needs. They almost feel like they have fallen into the trap where they then need to basically have their life purpose all about attending to this person's needs versus living from their own needs and getting their own needs validated and taken care of. They have basically submerged their needs. They have suffocated themselves in order and sacrificed their needs for the good of another. And although this is a very noble quality, this is the viewpoint and mindset that can really get people into trouble. Because it becomes then a sort of overextending of yourself constantly for this person, over-obligating yourself, meaning always putting their needs first and feeling like you become gradually invisible, gradually inattended to, gradually feeling like you have something missing in your life and there's kind of a deep void or chasm, and then this tends to go on with time. And what I find is that most people then begin the relationship with this noble sort of value of putting others first, or honoring and respecting this other individual in their life, but then it becomes, gradually they're losing perspective and losing sense of their own needs. So they're wondering why they are feeling so hollow or empty inside, or feeling like this person is in a relationship, but they're not really giving back. They're there, but they're not there. They're present, but they're not present. And it's because the covert narcissist and the narcissist subpopulation, the cluster B in general, tend to view others as an extension of themselves. So they will validate others or seek to be surrounded by others who mirror and validate them, and basically are all about validating them, meaning physically, emotionally, verbally, meaning giving them compliments and mirroring back who they are, but not to the extent that this is reciprocated. So because of their lack of empathy, they're not able to really mirror back, give a good two-way relationship dynamic where you are getting validated, you are getting acknowledged, you are getting affection, you are getting attention that you deserve. So it becomes this real imbalance where it's all about always putting them up, and you're constantly putting yourself down in that same process. So it becomes a real imbalance. And so, and as we're stating this, then the issue here is that because the covert narcissist oftentimes engages in what is known as conditional love or conditional regard, meaning there are too many conditions which you must consistently and daily meet in order to win their love or win their approval, win their attention, win their validation. And when you're in really an intimate relationship with somebody, meaning a marriage, meaning a family, you need to be spiritually open, emotionally naked. You need to have a kind of a mutual emotional bank account together, meaning that, it's in honoring and loving in sickness, richer or poorer. And so, this sort of commitment, or when you're in a close relationship with somebody, and your love then becomes conditional, it's based on certain specifics, which must always be met. In other words, if you're making the money, if you're cleaning the house, if you're looking this way, your appearance is this way, and so it's very conditional based. And so then you begin the devaluing and the discarding. Well, you need to work harder, or you need to do this. There's a lot of blame shifting. And it's not about unconditional love, which is really true love. And true love, which is really, understanding you and loving you for who you are. It's not saying, oh, gross, you're sick. You suck because, your business is down. It's not, invalidating people because life happens. And life happens. There's unexpected illnesses. There's unexpected changes in the market. There's unexpected changes in the business. There's unexpected changes in your employment. You might have unexpected challenges, child rearing practices, where you need to be on the same page. You need to have some, a foundation of values, a common denominator between the two of you, and an agreement of how, things are to go moving forward for your life, for the fabric of your life, for the blueprint of your relationship, the template of how you have an agreement and an understanding. And this needs to be unconditional. And so, realize that if you are trying to force the relationship too much, you're trying to force a square peg into a round hole. Force. That is the opposite of your personal power. And your relationship should not always be such a struggle. If you find that you're constantly struggling in the relationship, trying to work too hard, trying to please them too much, always feeling like you're ignored, or, feeling like you're unattended to and you're suffering, this is a good indicator that you are not being acknowledged, you are not being validated, and you're in a relationship that is going to be ineffectual or unfulfilling for you, or possibly with someone with a covert narcissist or narcissistic tendency who really is all about making sure they surround themselves with those who will take care of them, but oftentimes it's not two-directional. It's a one-way street. It's all about them, and it's not really about you. And so If you found yourself in this situation, realize that oftentimes the solution, the answer is that you need to bring the trust and unconditional love back to yourself. And this is not meant to be, mushy, squishy, whatever, or perceived in that manner, but really you do need to bring a sense of trust and validation back to yourself, and you need to provide this to yourself back in your own life and begin to trust and validate your own feelings and really be rigorously honest. This relationship is not working. This relationship takes too much out of me. This is all about them and never about me. I need to own this truth. I need to own this experience and see where the pitfalls are, and realize that if it's created such a deficit, a void, a deep hurt within you, realize that it's oftentimes because your natural, normal relationship needs are not getting met within this individual. And even though they appear so superior, important, good looking, even though, there's all these great qualities, they have a deficit, in the relationship where they're not able to exhibit empathy and then give to you in a specific way. So I think that's why people stay in a hurtful and ineffective covert narcissist relationship for too long, because they're always over idealizing this individual and they're undervaluing themselves and invalidating of their needs, undervaluing what they have to give, and realizing that oftentimes acknowledging through rigorous honesty that this individual cannot give them or love them in the way that they need to be loved. So really take gratitude and honor that there are certain shortfalls that this covert narcissist is falling in, and that they oftentimes, because of their lack of empathy, they're not able to meet you in the middle in a relationship and satisfy your emotional or even physical needs. Oftentimes this is not able to groove together or to work functionally. And so this oftentimes is known as conditional love. So if you feel like, the narcissist is not, not there for you because of certain conditions, meaning you don't have this job, you just lost this job, they're now cheating because of this, they're now doing this and this because of this, they're reacting in negative ways, they're going through the devalue and discard cycle, and you're having to always tune into them. Tune back into yourself, tune back into your own inner state, come to a sense of peace and resolve, and know that it's important for you to be in groove and in sync with trusting yourself, taking care of yourself, and focusing on your needs, and realizing, basically let this person go. Stop constantly putting them first, their needs first. Really get into realignment with what is most important now. And that is about attending to your needs, validating your needs, having a clear kind of program in line with you knowing what your needs are, what is important to you, what you're looking for, and making sure that those are of primary importance, and then letting this person go. Furthermore, letting go of all these sort of overextending of yourself, the overgiving that you had done for this person, and that sort of feeling like I never got this back in return, that sort of regret, that remorse, and that guilt and that sadness. Yes, feel those feelings, but don't allow it to overtake your life, because I think what ends up happening is people that end up spending days, hours, weeks, months in that funk, in that rut, in that groove of feeling the regret and the remorse and the loss. And you do need to go through those real grief cycles with kind of, it's like losing someone, but even though they're still in your life, I mean, you have to grieve the loss of who you thought this person is or was, and how the relationship was going to go. So you had kind of a vision, and that you were working towards. I call it a blueprint or a template for your relationship, and you're still kind of building and working, and you've got the hammer and the nails, and you're still trying to, create this, a relationship, and then this person is not able to be there. In essence, they're not measuring up, for the way your needs. So even though you're so used to putting their needs first, begin to be now comfortable with putting your needs first. You do have needs. It's okay to put your needs out there. It's okay to have these. And even though this could not be validated by this individual, realize that that's part of the covert narcissist shortfall, is that they operate by a heightened sense of self-importance. They have a need to control and overpower people, and oftentimes manipulate by having people do everything for them. And they really, are then, working on that idealized vision that you have of them. And so, realize that this is what has occurred. Now begin to take a rigorous, honest assessment of yourself, your needs, what is important to you, whether it's someone be there for you, have communication, be nice, understanding, have time to communicate. Begin to become real clear as to what your needs are, and work to keeping those into focus. Realize and that you should not feel wrong, bad, guilty, for having these needs. These are normal and natural, but oftentimes these are invalidated and made to feel insignificant or unimportant by a covert narcissist. Let that go and begin to encourage the trust that you have in yourself. Begin to validate yourself, and then furthermore work to express those and surround yourself with others who do really understand you and get you for the wonderful person that you are. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.